Good evening, Purple family. Welcome to another episode of Shades of Purple, a Prince podcast. On tonight's episode, I'm going to be doing my top 10 Prince songs of all time. So you guys, just going into this, look, this was very, very hard just to do 10 songs, to the point where I think on another episode, in the near future, I'm going to do maybe a top 20 so I can include another 10 songs, because it was really, really hard to try to, qualify. Okay, so this song should be number 5 and this song should be number 10. Like, that was really hard. And when I went about this, what made me want to do this one is because my B-side episode where I did the top 10, my top 10 favorite B-side hits, was such a popular episode. It got about almost 20 plays. I think it's at 17, 18 plays. So I was like, you know what? Let me do another one. And I'm also going to do my top 10 favorite Prince albums. And I'll probably do that sometime next week. But yeah, so basically how I chose these songs were, I thought about the songs that I played the most. And I play Prince just about every single day. And I have been playing his music every single day for a while, for at least the past 2.5 years or so. Now I would play it, sporadically before that. But, I really started my Prince journey in 2020 during the pandemic. And I kind of talk about that in some of my earlier episodes. But don't get me wrong. Like, if you've listened to my first episode, you know that I have been a Prince fan since I was a little girl, since I was in kindergarten. But I kind of moved away from him when I was a teenager and all that. So I don't want anybody who's listening to this episode in particular for the first time to think, oh, well, she just became a fan in 2020. No, baby. No, I've been a fan for at least 35 years or so. Like I said, 5. My birthday just passed on Friday, November 4th, because, we need a purple high. I just turned 39 on the 4th. So I have been a fan, I would say, since I was like maybe 5 or 6 years old. So over 30 plus years, I've been a fan. Okay, so let that be known. But anyway, so I chose these 10 songs because these are the songs that I always return to. These are the songs that when they come up on my Prince playlist, I always turn my volume up in my car, or I'll play these over and over again in my headphones. So I just really had to sit back and really think. And actually, when I showed my husband this list, he actually pointed out a song that I didn't even put on here. So I'm just like, but it's a song that I play out. So now I'm sitting here thinking, rethinking my list yet again. But I'm going to go with it. And I might even take one of these songs out and put that song there, because that is a song that I do play a lot. And I might just move that other song into honorable mentions. You guys, like I said, when I started putting this list together, I have 5 honorable mentions. Like I said, I've got 5, so that's like another 15, altogether songs. So I'm definitely going to have to do a top 20. And even then, like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Should I do a top 50? Like, I don't know. But anyway, so let's just go ahead and get right into it. So number 10 might surprise some of you guys, but my number 10 favorite Prince song is Purple Rain. Purple Rain. And I have talked about Purple Rain in some of my other episodes, and I know that a lot of Prince fans feel some type of way about Purple Rain. There's some that really like Purple Rain, like me, and then there's others that are just like, Purple Rain, I hate it, I don't like the album, it's too commercial, it's too... And I guess I can understand some of that criticism, but if we're being honest, and if you really just look at the song itself, outside of, the juggernaut that was Purple Rain, the experience, you might as well call it an experience, because with the album and the movie, it was definitely a Purple Rain experience. When I did my review, I referred to it as the Purple Flood. So, but we cannot deny I don't think, like I said, this is my list. So before y'all try to come for me in the comments on Facebook after you hear this, or you probably won't, because I really hardly ever get any comments about my podcast. But, if I do, look, don't come for me. Okay, this is my list. Your list might be different, and we can, talk about it. But anyway, but when you look at Purple Rain, the song, this song is a powerful power love ballad. Like, there is no denying its power. I mean, as soon as it comes on, those guitar riffs that, Wendy Melvoin came up with, beautiful introduction. I mean, and he had to do something almost, cinematic on this level. And I think that Purple Rain, the song, really is befitting of the album. I'm glad that he put that as the last song on the album, because it was just a great way to finish the album. Even though I said in my other episode that I think Baby I'm a Star would have been a better closer, and Baby I'm a Star was the closer for the movie. But now when I think about it, Purple Rain was very anticlimactic in the movie, but it puts you, like, it pulls at the heartstrings, because, just looking at it from the movie, you know what? Scratch that. Even if you didn't see the movie or have never seen the movie, like if you've been living under a rock for the past almost 40 years and you've never seen the movie, just listening to the song, you feel, at least I do, feel some type of way. Like, it really does pull at your emotions. And the one thing that really pulls at my emotions in this song is that wonderful, perfect guitar solo. Because Prince, the way he plays his guitar solo in Purple Rain, you can actually feel, that the guitar has, taken over Prince's emotions, and it's just kind of explaining, how he feels about this person, how he wants to be, with this person in the Purple Rain. I never meant to cause you any pain. I just want to see you laughing. I just want to see you happy. And when that guitar solo starts, you can just feel the emotion of what he's saying, of what the lyrics are saying. And to me, that's powerful, I would always cry when I would hear Purple Rain, even before Prince died. But after Prince died, I would just boo-hoo. But I remember one time, the very first time I cried was when I very first saw the movie back in the 90s. Like, I thought, at the time, and I said this in my review of the movie, that I thought that his father had passed away. Because, he shot himself in the head. And I thought that, his father was dead. And so he was, dedicating the song to his father, Francis L., which is what he was doing. But, I didn't know later. So, of course, they, when they started playing I Will Die For You, you saw him in the hospital. But I was just like, oh my God, this song is so emotional. It's so sad, but I love it. And after Prince died, the guitar solo in this, come on. It doesn't get any better than that. And he always plays the shit out of that guitar solo. Anytime that he would do Purple Rain in concert, he would just nail it. Probably the most famous one is the one he did during the Purple Rain tour when they were in New York, I believe. Was it Buffalo? No, it was Syracuse. When they were in Syracuse, when he had on that navy kind of garb he had on, I think it was the same thing that he wore to the Grammys that year in '85. And it was just wonderful, wonderful song. And so when people talk about it so bad, like it's just the worst song Prince ever did, I'm just like, y'all need to calm down, okay? Yes, he did have better songs. We know that. But I think it bothers a lot of people because so many non-Prince fans, that's the only thing they know about Prince. And so that bothers us as his fans. And I get that. But Prince didn't have a problem with the song. He understood that he would be Mr. Purple Rain, unfortunately. Well, but I don't think it's unfortunate though. And it was the very last song that he played when he left the stage in 2016 for the last time. So Prince understood the power of Purple Rain, and I do too. And it's one of those songs that I kind of have to be in the mood to hear Purple Rain. It's not like my first go-to Prince song, obviously, but if I'm in the mood, I will definitely play the hell out of Purple Rain. So, moving on, number 9. Now, I had to go back and forth with my number 9 song, but I had to go ahead and give it to Diamonds and Pearls. So, Diamonds and Pearls was one of the first songs that I heard from Prince when it came out. I was a little girl. I was like maybe 6 or 7. I was in first grade. And I in my very first episode, I talk about how when I first heard this song was actually in a play that we had at my school. And I want to say, I think it had to have been a Black History Parade, and that not Black History Parade, a Black History play. Sorry, I don't know why I said parade. Play. And at the end of the play, and like I said, I can't remember who I played. But I'm thinking, like I said, Harriet Tubman, or because those now, like, it's such a joke to me that now, I didn't know a lot about these people when it comes to like Black history. I'm sorry, I'm getting off the subject, but back then, all they would ever tell us about was Harriet Tubman. And that was it, like Harriet Tubman and Rosa Parks. Those were the two women that they most talked about during Black History Month. So I'm pretty sure I was probably one of them. And now looking back, I'm like, don't get me wrong, Harriet Tubman and Rosa Parks, wonderful woman, wonderful women and what they did, but they're not the only people. Just like Martin Luther King, he wasn't the only person. But let me stop. But anyway, so I don't want to get on my soapbox on that. But anyway, so Diamonds and Pearls. When I heard the song, I was just like, this is a beautiful song. I love how it's arranged. I love Rosie Gaines hitting that high note. Like, to me, Rosie Gaines almost outsung Prince in this song. Like, her vocals were amazing. And I really think that Prince should have really pushed to put her album out. Like, I know he got caught up with, Carmen Electra, meaning that, he got caught up in, we're not going to say the word, but I really do feel like that. She was because she's still with us. So talented. And I really would have loved to, have heard her album. And I don't know if she eventually, I think she did actually put something out, but I can't, I don't think it did anything. And I don't know if she ended up doing it. I don't think she did it with Prince. But I want to say I think she did put an album out, but it wasn't under Paisley Park, I don't believe. But I really do think that he should have took more time with her and really have, because her album could have went platinum easily. She was such a powerhouse singer, and this song right here demonstrates that. And I don't know if this is a rumor, but I heard, seeing other people on the Prince Facebook pages or whatever talking. So supposedly, and on Prince.org, but you can't always believe all that stuff. But somebody had commented that Prince had once said that he wouldn't ever play this song in concert without Rosie. And when you listen to the song, you can understand why. It's just like nobody else could really, there's other people that could probably come close to it, but her vocals are just so amazing and powerful. It's just, there's just no comparison, honestly. And Diamonds and Pearls is such a beautiful song, like I said, and it's my number 9. And I hope to, Lord willing, if I am able to get pregnant again, I'm going to play this in my gender reveal because, he says boy or a girl. So pray for your girl on that. So moving on, number 8. So I originally had one song for number 8. But I'm going to go ahead and go with this other song. So I'm literally changing my my songs in real time. so number 8, instead of going with the song that I originally went with, I'm actually going to go to Nothing Compares to You. And because my husband actually pointed out, you know what, you really like that song. You always play it. You always talking about it. And I really do. And this other song that I had for number 8, I do play that one as well, but not as much as Nothing Compares to You. Now, this song really grew on me when I actually first heard, speaking of Rosie Gaines, her version with Prince. I mean, to me, that was just the standard. And it still is. But then after, when I heard Prince's version on the originals, I was blown away. Because, let me be honest, I'm not really a big fan of Sinead O'Connor's version. I'm just not. And not to say that it's bad or anything. It just wasn't I just wasn't vibing with it. And it's not even because of, how, her lies on Prince and, how she's, kind of bashed him. Not even that. It's just that, I don't know. I just really did not care for her vocals. She did okay. And obviously, her version is probably the most well-known version. But I actually like the Family's version better than hers. Like, I would put hers as my number 4. I guess it's just me. I just don't see the appeal of hers. I just don't. There's also been another guy, he's since passed, that also did a version. I hadn't heard his version. O'Connell, I think is his name. I haven't heard his version. I'm going to have to hear his. But my favorite now is Prince's, because when I heard it, I was just like, now I understood what he was trying to do with the song, and then a saxophone. I'm not sure if it's Eric Leeds that does the saxophone or Eddie M. But whoever played that saxophone, they did the damn thing. That saxophone solo was everything and Nothing Compares to You. And it's another, once again, I'm going to say beautiful a lot, because a lot of these songs on my list they're just beautiful to listen to. And Nothing Compares to You is a song that actually reminds me a lot of my husband, because he is one of a kind and nothing and nobody in my life can compare to him. And so when he mentioned that song, I automatically thought about him. And I'm not sure where the inspiration for Nothing Compares to You is from. Susan Rogers seemed to think that he was talking about some housekeeper, but I'm just like, why would he? I'm sure she's a wonderful cleaner, and maybe he was close to his housekeeper. I don't know, but I'm not exactly sure who the song is about. But whoever it was, I think Susanna was even thinking she was singing the song was about her, but I don't know. But whoever the song was about, Prince, like I said, he wasn't the best communicator. As we know, he liked to communicate through song. And so whoever he wrote this song about, or if he didn't write it about anybody, it's, once again, a beautiful song to listen to. And if you're, missing someone or thinking about someone, it's just the perfect song to go to. And I love Rosie Gaines' version. Once again, she just sung her ass off in it. And, but like Prince's version, to me, I don't know, it just stuck with me. And it's the one, and it took me a while before I actually listened to his version, because I really liked the Rosie Gaines version so much. But when I actually finally gave Prince's a listen, I was just like, oh my God, this is wonderful. And then, of course, the YouTube video that they have of him and the Revolution doing their practicing in the warehouse, I was just like, just the height that he got in those heels. And, looking at that is kind of bittersweet, because we know that him doing, those spins and those splits in the heels is why he's not with us anymore. So, it was really bittersweet, but, wonderful to see, Prince in his youth, in 1984 when he was, at his sexiest and just looking all healthy and wonderful and young. And, that's the way that we should try to remember him. And not to say that, he didn't still look good in his older years, because he did. But, we just keep that in mind. A lot of people, I think, try to be so negative and try to focus on his death and, why did it have to happen and this. And I've said this before, it was his time to go. It really was, because I'm not one of those people that believe in untimely deaths, because I believe in God. And I know that when God calls you home, he calls you home. And there's nothing nobody can do, nothing nobody can say. Yes, we can sit around and say, yeah, he could have been rescued. But then, he wouldn't, then it wasn't his time to go. If he was meant to still be here, he would. So if somebody, I don't care who it was, if anybody, that night would have been like, hey, Prince, where you going? Before he went to the elevator, then it wasn't his time to leave us. It was his time to leave us. And he left us such a wonderful legacy and all this wonderful music that we have. So let's celebrate his life and not try to think so much about his death. All right, let me get off my soapbox. Moving on. So number 7. So speaking of number 7, I decided to keep this one, Breakdown, which is, The Breakdown, which was on Artificial Age, which was one of his last albums he did that came out in 2014. When I first heard this song, you guys, I broke down in tears because it was a matter of Prince looking back on his life and, kind of regretting some of the things he did when he was younger. We've all been there. We've all done stupid things when we were younger or hurt someone that we didn't mean to hurt. And so I saw this as his song of kind of redemption, of trying to be like, hey, I did this and now I regret it. And because I have, whoever this person is in my life, now I can, you're breaking me down. You're breaking me down and showing me that I don't have to be this way. I think one of the most powerful lyrics in that song is, now there's a door that you can walk through when it used to be a wall. And that made me think about that song, that Wally song, where he talks about, putting up a wall. And I think he has a song, I think it was on Sign of the Times, the Super Deluxe Edition, called The Wall, or am I tripping? But so that made me think that, when he was younger, Prince was much more guarded, with his feelings and with his heart. And but now, at an older age, he's kind of got more relaxed and he's more loving and more open. And so that lyric always stuck out to me. But when I first heard this song, I just thought, oh my goodness, Prince. And he said that was one of his favorite songs that he liked to perform. He said that on the Arsenio Hall show at the time in 2014, his last TV interview that he did. He talked about how, he always uses the word we, talking about himself. But he's like, I thought he was meaning we as in like him and his band maybe. But, he's always we this, we that. So he said, one of our songs that, we really like to play nowadays is The Breakdown. So if you haven't seen that, it's on YouTube with Arsenio Hall. Just type in Arsenio Hall and Prince and it'll be like 2014. I think, I can't remember the day. I think the day was August 21st, which is really eerie. Because, of course, we lost him 2 years after that day. But The Breakdown is just a beautiful song from start to finish. And it's a song where you could actually hear his voice kind of cracking a little bit when he goes to that high note. And y'all know my ass can't sing, but I'm going to sing anyway. And when he's like, you breaking me, he's just like going, when he kind of starts that screaming thing, but it's like he can't really, scream as much as he wants. Well, he probably could, because even then his voice was still fantastic. But I mean, you could just hear the emotion in his voice. And, of course, it was just like, oh my goodness, Prince, he's probably just thinking, thinking back on, how he used to treat some of the women that he dated, like Vanity and Jill. And, just thinking like, oh man, I was a real asshole, some of the things I did, or even some of the things he did to some of his band members, because there was a lot of stories about him just being a total asshole, a total jerk, whether it's, with Jimmy Jam or Terry Lewis or Morris Day or Andre Simone. I mean, a lot of these people hold back, on speaking negative for Prince because, of course, he's no longer with us. But, he was an asshole. Let's just keep it real. Sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, but just like everybody, Prince was a person who had, both sides to him. Because he was a Gemini, he had the best of both worlds. He could be this fierce philanthropist, wanting to give his all to, people that he didn't know, but then he would treat the people that were closest to him like shit. and I mean, that's just what it is. But the breakdown, like I said, was, I think, him reflecting on his life and wanting to seek some type of solace, some type of redemption for his past misdeeds. So moving on, that was number 7. So number 6 is Morning Papers, which was on not Diamonds and Pearls. It was on the Love Symbol. The Love Symbol album and Diamonds and Pearls, because they're back to back, they sometimes I get the songs on, one mixed up with the other. But Morning Papers is on the Love Symbol album. And I actually, me and my husband were also talking about this the other day, because I always thought that I liked the Diamonds and Pearls album more than the Love Symbol album. But really, I like the Love Symbol album more because it actually has more songs on it that I like. And this is one of them. I actually put this up on the Facebook page a couple of days ago, and I labeled it an underrated gem, because it's a song. Of course, now he's talking about Mayte in this song. And it's one of those like love at first sight type of songs, but the way he sings it and the guitar solo is wonderful. And I mean, you could just tell that he really has feelings for Mayte. But because she is, on the younger side, he is, of course, not acting out on his feelings, but he's just expressing them, and it's such a sweet way. And Mayte actually would reflect back. They had like an interview after Prince died, of course, where they went out to the site of where they filmed, like on the beach, the beach scenes in the video for Morning Papers. And she cried, and she talked about how they had such a great time all day on the beach together. And it was just such a wonderful time. And I mean, Mayte was his muse for a good part of the 90s, all the way up until, they divorced, excuse me. And he wrote some wonderful, wonderful songs about her. And I always come back to Morning Papers because, I mean, the instrumentation in it is wonderful, but just like the lyrics, like some of the most romantic lyrics I think Prince has ever written, when he said if he poured his heart into a glass and offered it like wine, she could drink and be back in time for the morning paper. Like, I mean, just putting his feelings and his heart and his emotions, and then, but also keeping in mind, that she is young, saying she was every schoolboy's fantasy, that's why he had to wait, So a lot of people want to say, want to put Prince in the same category as R. Kelly or Elvis Presley or these other, men that, got with younger women. And they even want to say that, Mayte was groomed. And I'm going to talk more about this when I review her book and some of the things that she has said, because she has retorted a lot of that, like it was really her mother that I feel like was doing the grooming. But once again, I'm trying to stay off of my soapbox. There are some things that, that did happen between them that I don't agree with. But I mean, nothing, of course, sexually, because they didn't have sex until she was 19. But, but you have to also remember Prince's parents there was like almost a 20-year gap between the two of them. And people don't think about this. So John L. Nelson was 17 years, so almost 20 years, 17 years older than Maddie Shaw. So for Prince, he didn't see it as a problem getting with younger women, because, I mean, look at that. That's what he saw growing up. Older men getting with younger women. As long as they were legal, what's the issue? But, be that as it may, people have their opinions, and, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got them. So it is what it is. But I'll get into that on another episode. But Morning Papers, once again, is number 6. So number 5 is Baby I'm a Star. And I saw that someone said that they didn't like Baby. Well, there's probably more than someone. A lot of people that say they don't like Baby I'm a Star. But I like Baby I'm a Star because it's really a great song to work out to. This is one of the songs I always turn up when I'm in the gym and I really want to, if I have like a sudden burst of energy, like I'm doing cardio, like if I'm on the treadmill, for example, and Baby I'm a Star comes on, I start running, or, whatever. So Baby I'm a Star is just encompassing, and it came out, at the perfect time, during the Purple Rain era, because he had finally come to where, he could say, baby, I've arrived. I'm a star. Now, he wrote this, way before the Purple Rain album came out. He wrote this song. I want to say, I think Baby I'm a Star is probably the oldest song on the Purple Rain album, if I can remember back from what they were saying on the PrinceVault.com. I think he wrote the song like 81 or 82. So he knew then that, hey, it's just going to be a matter of time. I'm about to be a star, baby. And so he had a song ready for when it happened. And it's just one of those feel-good songs that, he's saying, I ain't got no money, but I'm rich on personality, which was a lie. He had plenty of money. And he even said that during the Purple Rain, the Parade tour, he was like, yeah, that's a lie. Even though he was talking about, I want to be your lover. But he had plenty of money, at this time when he made this song too. But he did. He was also rich on personality. And, and of course the screaming in the song is just like, so you might not know it now, but baby, I'm trying to tell you, just, and there's just the instrumentation in it. And I even like, Dr. Fink's, his keyboard solo in it. Just wonderful all the way around. And it was such a great way to end the Purple Rain movie, because, we're at the end, we did Purple Rain, which is the anticlimactic song. And now we're back to feeling good. Everything is all good now. So it's a really feel good song. So I love it. I always turn it up, when I hear it on my, Prince playlist. So now we're up to number 4. So number 4 is Power Fantastic. So Power Fantastic is a song that I often listen to at night. I sometimes listen to it before I go to bed because, it starts off late at night when the world is sleeping. So what better time to play it when you're going to bed? So I know that this was a composition that he did with Wendy and Lisa. And I actually think this is another one of their creations, and Prince just did the lyrics. But it's still, the instrumentation in it is lovely. The way Lisa plays the piano is divine. And I just love the whole song. And it's one of those songs that puts you, just relaxes you. I'm not sure who's playing the trumpet. I'm assuming it's like Alana Bliss, maybe. But, of course, I didn't go on PrinceVault.com and look these up, because I'm just like, I know these songs. But I guess I should have looked up who was playing the trumpet. But, it's wonderful. The trumpet is probably what stands out the most on the song. It gives it, of course, a jazzy feel. And of course, he's got other jazzy songs in that same vein, kind of like, Somewhere Here on Earth is probably another one that's really jazzy sounding, but very relaxing, very calm. It just puts you in a, I'm gonna go to sleep, and just, so there's been many a night where I was just like, let me listen to Power Fantastic. Or even, it's even a good song to play in the morning. Like, there have been times where I've been on my way to work and I'll turn it on, just to get me in a relaxed mood, just driving to work, so it's always a song that I just, put on when I want to hear something really relaxing. So that's number 4. So we're up to number 3. So number 3 was my number 1 favorite B-side hit, 17 Days. So yes, I know it's not an A-side, but who said that all these songs had to be A-sides? 17 Days is still my jam, and it's my number 3 because it's my number 1 B-side. So 17 Days, like I said, I'm not sure who he wrote this about, but if I could just guess, I would say maybe Vanity. But whoever he wrote it about, it was someone he was just like, oh my God, I've been calling you, can't reach you. It's been 17 days. 17 days that's like 2 weeks and 3 days. Like, but 2 weeks and 3 days doesn't sound right. 17 days sounds like it's been like forever, and all I've got is 2 cigarettes and this broken heart of mine. And people like, I know Prince don't smoke, so he ain't talking about himself. But I mean, just the chorus itself. Let the rain come down, the rain come down, let the rain come down, down. And he didn't perform it a whole lot live in concert, from what I understand. But the one time that not the one time, he did perform it a couple of times. But the one that's on YouTube right now, which he did in 2010, awesome performance of this song. And it just really just shows you just like his genius in live action. Like, he's probably one of the best live performers of all time. And the way that he's able to switch up the instrumentation, and like in that particular performance, he added in the song by Tina Marie, Lover Girl, because she had passed away around this time. And so how he was able to do that, like he'll mix up another song with his songs. He did that with Michael Jackson as well. When he passed away, he put in, they were doing the time Cool, and they mixed in Don't Stop Till You Get Enough and another concert. I mean, so he would constantly do things like that. It's just like, you would never think that those 2 songs would go together, but they sound great together, because of course Prince's band was always on point, because they had to be, because Prince wasn't playing around. But 17 Days is just one of those songs. It's, of course, the A side is When Doves Cry. And When Doves Cry, I almost put on my list, but I was just like, I don't know. I might have to. It is in my honorable mention, so I will say that, because When Doves Cry, I know for a lot of people, that was the start of their, connection with Prince. Other people will swear that, they've been fans since 78, and I don't want to say that I doubt some of those people. Some of those people are probably very honest, but at the same time, I think sometimes people just say that just to make it sound like, oh, I've been knowing Prince. I've been, just because they want to sound like, they know more than the next person. But anyway, so 17 Days, number 3. So number 2 is Adore from Sign of the Times. Now, I've talked about the importance of Adore to the Black community when I talked about Prince and race. And Prince even said this particular song was written for Black radio. Now, he's talking about in the song the woman Susanna. That's who he's talking about in the song. But the song was made for Black radio because at this time in the late 80s, of course, there were a lot of Black R&B artists that were coming out with just amazing albums, amazing songs. You had Luther Vandross, Whitney Houston, people like that were just coming out with these just wonderful, wonderful songs. And he was just like, look, if y'all want R&B ballads, say less. I got you. So he was like, you know what? I could do that. I could be like Luther Vandross. I could do this. And so that's what kind of motivated him to do Adore. And to this day, I still say this. Like, if you ask any Black person what their favorite Prince song is, Adore is going to be on the list somewhere. So, I just had to do it. Adore, what can I say about Adore? I love everything about it. I especially like when he said, well, maybe not the ride, when he's saying you could, burn up my clothes, smash up my ride. Well, maybe not the ride. He had to think about it, So it's a funny song, but it's also a really endearing song, that he's just showing, telling about his love for Susanna and how like he just, he had to call her. After he got her phone number, he's like, I was rapping till the sun came up because I just had to let you know how fine you look, and just in case, we never get together, just know that I love you for who you are, and then, when they, finally did the do, he's like, I only hear the sounds. I'm like, is that the sound she making, Prince? Like, what's up with that? And then I like the line where he's saying, well, I ain't fucking just for kicks, he's really in this. He really wants his relationship to mean something to him. And I really do think that Susanna was probably the most serious relationship he had in the 80s. A lot of people think it was with Vanity, but no, I definitely would say that his most serious relationship was definitely with Susanna. And after they broke up, he did go through, I believe, a period of depression, which may have led him to, do the Black Album and lead to, him experimenting with, some drugs. Well, when I say drugs, I really should say just acid at the was it LSD or ecstasy? Yeah, ecstasy. So, I mean, and everybody experiments, well, maybe not everybody, but, a lot of us have been there. That doesn't make Prince a bad person because he experimented and had a little ecstasy, Ecstasy especially is still very popular today. People pop them all the time before they go to the club or if they're, going to go party. So I don't hold that against him. But, he was going through some things. The revolution had disbanded. Him and Susanna broke up. So that was a really dark period. I'm going to talk about that when I get to talking about the Sign of the Times album and the Black Album. So stay tuned for that. So Adore, number 2. So finally, drum roll. Everybody should know what my number 1 is because I say it all the time, but here we go anyway. My number 1 favorite Prince song of all time is The Beautiful Ones. When I first heard this song, you guys, his vocals in this song, the screaming in particular, I was just blown away. I was just like, whoo, I want a man to love me like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I separate myself from any man, I want him to be just like, baby, listen to me, like, I want you. Like, he wanted to let it be known. Look, I want you. Do you want me or do you want him? Because let me know now, because let me tell you, I may not know where I'm going or where I'm coming from, but I do know one thing, that I want you. I mean, and the way he was so emphatic with it, like, okay, so the story is, a lot of people are thinking that, he was talking about Susanna. No, he was not talking about Susanna. I believe that he was talking about Vanity. And the reason why I say this is because he said it without saying it. He kind of let it slip in an Ebony magazine interview that Prince did back in 2015. So just right, the year before he died. He was having an interview with this guy and talking about, the Hit and Run Phase 1 and Phase 2 albums. And so they got into a conversation about Purple Rain and that whole era. And the interviewer had mentioned that The Beautiful Ones, people, were saying that, they think that it was about Susanna Melvion. And so Prince was like, no, the song was made for the movie, in particular that scene with Apollonia and Morris Day, and how, he's, Prince is singing The Beautiful Ones from the stage, and, do you want him? Do you want me? That back and forth exchange. She's like, it's for the movie. But then he also went on to say, to the Susanna thing, like, why do people keep thinking that I'm making songs for them? If you really think about it, if you really just pay attention, you can figure out, who I'm talking about. Because during this time, he went on to say, when I was recording, these songs for Purple Rain, Vanity had just left the group. And this is what he said in this interview. You can look it up. I might even post it on the Facebook page. But he said Vanity had just left the group. And so he was just like, so that was, his frame of mind at the time. So he was talking about Vanity. And she was beautiful. Absolutely. And so The Beautiful Ones, always smashed the picture. I mean, he was heartbroken when Vanity left. And I don't think we, didn't really know the extent of his heartbreak until he did The Beautiful Ones. And I think that The Beautiful Ones is without a doubt the very best love song, the very best ballad that he ever did. I mean, probably the most emotional song. Prince is at his rawest emotion in this song. And I think that for Prince, he probably realized until, after Vanity left, how much he loved her and how much he was in love with her. And by the time he figured that out, she was gone. And I think for Vanity also, I don't know if she ever commented it on the song itself, but I think Vanity in her book, she did say that, you know, Prince was the only man that she ever really loved. And so I think at the time they were both so young, they were in their 20s, living their life. And I just think they just didn't realize that they were in love and that, you know, they needed to be together. You know, they constantly would fight. Even Prince said this, you know, and it's a piano microphone tour, that they were constantly fight, but they loved each other deeply. And they just didn't realize at the time that they were really in love. And I think this song is a lament to that, you know, that I want you back. I want you to know how much I want you, and I only want you. And, you know, so there are rumors that they got together, you know, in the 90s, you know, before she got married, and they maybe hooked up a couple other times in the late 80s. I don't know, you know, how true that is, but I think Vanity is probably the one woman that Prince never really got over. And Manuela, his second wife, looks a lot like her. Like she could easily be a Vanity clone. And so because of that, not to say that, you know, he didn't love Manuela for Manuela, you know, but she does look a strikingly a lot like Vanity. And so out of all the women that Prince has ever been with, I think that Vanity was the one woman that he just, you know, loved completely. And not to say that he didn't love, you know, his wives or, you know, other women that he was with. He loved them. But I just think with Vanity, it was just something about her that was just so different from everyone else. Even Jill, and I love Jill Jones, but even something that even Jill didn't have, that Vanity had. And Prince just, you know, he was just like a moth to a flame, and so was she. So I'm going to end it on that note. So just to recap, so number 10 was Purple Rain. Number 9, Diamonds and Pearls. Number 8. Okay, so I didn't write down what number 8 was, but I think it was Nothing Compares to You. Yeah, that's what it was. Number 7, Breakdown. Number 6, Morning Papers. Number 5, Baby I'm a Star. Number 4, Power Fantastic. Number 3, 17 Days. Number 2, Adore. And number 1, The Beautiful Ones. So before I end this episode, let me just mention my honorable mentions, which was Dark, the first one, which is on the Come album. I love Dark. It's such a jazzy, really good song. And it's just one of those songs that you can, like if you're in your car, you know, cruising, it's just a good cruising song to listen to. You know, he kind of expresses his emotions in that song too. And I like the way he kind of holds that note in the beginning. Y'all know y'all just gonna have to deal with my non-singing self. So the next honorable mention after Dark is Damn You, which is on another jammer on the Love Symbol album. Damn You is another slow jam that is just perfect. You know, he just, just I love his voice and the fact that, you know, he's once again showing his range, because he goes from doing his, mid-chest voice to his, baritone, voice, just kind of like what he does in The Most Beautiful Girl in the World, a very similar transition. The next one is Dreamer, which is on the Lotus Flower album. Dreamer is a Hendrix inspired rock song, and I just love everything about this song. And I'm surprised that I actually didn't have more rock songs on my list, because I do like a lot of his rock songs. I love Bambi, Dreamer, Colonized Minds, which is also on Lotus Flower. What else? I like Endorphin Machine, which is on the Gold Experience. But I don't know. I love them, but those are not songs that I just, automatically go to, I guess is what I'm saying. So that's why they're honorable mentions. So after Dreamer, we have We Can Fuck, the original. Yes, I said fuck, not funk. I do like We Can Funk though. But the original that came out in 82 or 83, it's only on Spotify. Like, it's not on YouTube. They have the one that came out in 86 that he did, We Can Funk. And then I like the version that he did with George Clinton on the Graffiti Bridge album, I think that's really the only song other than Thieves in the Temple and Joy and Repetition. Those are probably, and Round and Round, so never mind. I do like quite a few songs on Graffiti Bridge, but probably my favorite song is We Can Funk. I like that, the little, the twist that he did with George Clinton on it. But the original is awesome. Now, I have, of course, a Prince playlist on Spotify, and We Can Funk is on there. And that's another song, kind of like when Baby I'm a Star. When it comes on, I get to cranking up my workout. Because, it's just, because you start thinking about, well, let me get ready, Prince. So, We Can Funk, great song. And then another honorable mention is If I Was Your Girlfriend. Now, that was originally my number 8. And then I moved it to actually another honorable mention that I'm about to say that's similar to We Can Fuck. But If I Was Your Girlfriend is probably one of my favorite songs on Sign of the Times, in addition to Adore. It's just so, I love his falsetto, even though he's like, doing the Camille voice. But it's still, and it's just one of those songs that you just never think that a man would really, think about. Like, he's almost like, I want to be as close to you as you are to your female friends. And I think that's really an enduring message. And I really wish that more men would think like that. Like, how can I be that close to you? Because for a lot of women, their girlfriends, their female friends are everything to them. And so for one man to be like, I just want to be, all the things you are to me, and that, that ending line there really stuck out to me. And of course, him going on talking about, at the end of the song, talking about drinking every ounce and all that with the oral sex. And I'm just like, okay, Prince. So Prince being Prince, of course. And so finally, my last honorable mention is Extra Lovable. Now, not the one he released on Hit and Run Phase 2. Not that one. Even though that one was okay, I really prefer the one that's kind of unreleased. I think it still is unreleased. It came out once again in the 82, 83, that era. That is on YouTube, and it is awesome. I played that out when I first heard it. I'm just like, why did he not release this at the time? And of course, now they didn't put it on the 1999 Super Deluxe because of the lyric about rape, which of course has a very not aged well at all. And so I don't, blame the Prince estate, but they could have easily just took that out, so I don't know why they didn't include it. When they could have just, took that lyric out or, did some kind of magic in the studio. They do that all the time because it really is a good song. I mean, and I love everything about it. I like the guitar, the beat, just his energy in the song. So Extra Lovable was actually very close to being on my list. And like I said, all these honorable mentions we'll probably see them again in a top 20 or a top 50 for sure. So I'm most definitely going to have to do at least a top 20 of Prince songs. So there you have it. So what do you guys think of my list? Let me know. Next week, I'm going to do top 10 Prince albums. And let me tell you, I already have a list going because I already know my top 3. But outside of that, y'all, I don't know. So y'all pray for me. And I'm going to end the episode on that note. So until I see y'all again or hear from y'all again, peace and be wild. And may you live to see the dawn. Bye.